This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Hello and what's going on, my fellow Schwoke Lords? What is up? Welcome to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy. Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Welcome to the show today, folks. Welcome to Cancel Schweezy, which is the name of the podcast. The podcast of which you clicked on my dumb fucking face that your mom saw last night in bed. Oh, got him! And that's also right. We got the soundboard back. For those of you who don't know, we had the soundboard. Basically, the hard drive I had a lot of my stuff on it's still working, has all the data on it, but it is running very slow, which is very concerning for a lot of reasons. But anyways, though, I don't have everything back on here, but I got the ones that matter, you know?
What?
So... the ones that really matter are back on here. Welcome to Cancel Schweezy. Like I said, it's the Lord's favorite podcast. Sorry, the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. But I also want to say Cancel Schweezy is the only podcast that represents America right now. I know there's plenty of podcasts. Our friends over at Schwe Media have America the Podcast. They're friends, and My American Life are not our friends, but not our enemies either. We just don't know each other yet. That's fun. Also, if you're watching me right now, you notice I got a haircut, and you're like, where's the mullet? I'm like, it's there. I just got it shorter. This is how I had it when I initially tried to go for the mullet, because I was still growing it out. It's still there. It's still there. I just wanted it really short. I was looking a little too Joey from Full House. I didn't really like that. I didn't want it to look too much like that. I want to look neat. I want to look crisp. I want to be like cool stuff, neat stuff, slick stuff.
I like that.
So really, you think I look handsome? My mom doesn't think I'm handsome. I'm pretty sure she thinks I'm a fat fuck. Anyways, though, enough about my family life. We're going on to your family life. Like checking out my music, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, under Schweezy. It's like Cancel Schweezy, but you just cross out the cancel part, Schweezy. That's where you find my music. Currently working on new music right now, but we've got a lot of cool stuff in the backlog. We got Ride or Die Volume 1 and 2, EP King. We got some covers of It's Gonna Be May, because you bet I'm coming up in May. And so you should go check that out. We're in July now, so it's really fun. I'm actually recording this on July 4th. That's why I am wearing the American flag on my shirt, which, those of you who don't know, apparently is against the rules of the flags, apparently. So I just want you all to know about that. So...
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
And, so go check that. Go check my music. Go check me on social media. It's at TheSchweezy. I don't think I'm going to get on... I'm thinking about just deleting my Twitter altogether. That way nothing comes back to haunt me in the future, in case the actual Cancel Schweezy. I don't think I have anything that bad. It's mostly Christian bullshit. So Instagram I'm on a lot. I'm on TikTok a lot. I'm on Facebook a lot. So those are really good places to go check me out. To see what I'm doing in the world, get updated, especially when I do podcast shit, music shit, and everything all together. So, don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
And go check all that out. Twitch is also another social media too. I stream every Thursday over on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Last week I played Jedi Fallen Order, and I did have a lot of fun. I think I streamed for like 4 hours. Usually try to do like 3 hours. I usually start at like 8 and go to midnight, and I think I actually started at 9 and went to like 1 a.m. So it was a lot of fun. You should go check out that as well, because those games are fun, and I get alcohol in my system, and then I just drink and just ramble about shit. So that's a great thing. Go check it out. The nice thing about Twitch, though, is that if you have an Amazon Prime account, which most people do, and you're already paying for that Amazon Prime account, what you can go ahead and do is connect it with your Twitch account. That gives you a Twitch Prime. Now, on Twitch, following anyone, that is free. Just following anyone on Twitch is free. Get notified anytime I go streaming. However, with a Twitch Prime, it gives you one free subscribe a month. Now, a subscribe is typically if you want to subscribe to someone without it, it's about $5 a month, which, is nothing too. So if you want to just do that as well, it's pretty easy. But with that Twitch Prime, you basically get one free a month. So basically, you can help financially support any creator on Twitch for free, for basically what you're already paying for Amazon Prime for. You don't, not any extra money. Help out Daddy here today, and just go. Don't be that guy. Don't just help us out. That's not spending any extra money. If you're already paying for Amazon Prime, that's just a great way to financially support someone without doing anything else. We also have our Patreon page. Patreon, like I always like to say, is just a great way to say thank you for being a friend. So we travel down this road and back again. Your heart is true, like a pal and a confidant. Be cool, be true to your school, or whatever. So yeah. There's also a lot of free shit you can do. I know a lot of people are listening right now, and some people are watching me. If you're watching me, that'd be over on YouTube right now. Make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you like all our episodes. Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell. That way you get notified whenever we post new videos and new things like that. And especially for the audio-only listeners, you should definitely go check out our YouTube page as well. I mean, it is the full episode, so I know obviously some of you are like driving, and so I don't want you to like. It's weird with podcasting. It's like if you're driving, you're not really listening too much unless it's like some sort of clip show or anything. I try to be mindful of that as well. I know some podcasts, they show just a lot of videos and clips and stuff like that. And when you're like sitting in your car driving, like you don't get it. I try to be a little bit better than that. But anyways, though, why you should go check out our YouTube channel as well is I do post highlights from all the episodes, all our individual segments and stupid shit like that as well. I mean, I post them on TikTok too, but I do post them over on our YouTube page. And the nice thing about the YouTube page is I go over a segment that I think you want to share with your friends, or your family, your grandma, your kids. What you can go ahead and do over on that YouTube page is you don't have to like tell someone, hey, go to this timestamp, listen to this, it's really interesting. You just send them the highlight, and that's the whole thing. And that's the whole thing you want them to listen to. They go from like 5, 20, 30, 15 minutes, they all vary, for how long I talk about it and shit like that. This is not one of those episodes where my nose it's just like a bitch. So go check out that. Obviously, if you're on the audio platforms, make sure you leave us a review and give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 star rating. Everything I just said is a great way to help us infiltrate algorithms, and
I like that.
So why not do that for your old pal Schweezy here? Today, forever and always. Let's get into previous week right now. Previous week right now is the previous week right now. We've been doing this show for a while. I know some people are new, but we've been doing the show for a while. You should kind of guess what previous week right now means, like the meaning of previous week right now. And for those of you who also want to get into the joke, it's a play on Last Week Tonight by John Oliver. That's also part of the joke that you are all now in on. So anyways, though, let's just jump right into it and see what's going on. Let's get into the news today that everyone's dying to know. The previous week before July 1st. This is straight from Insider. Insider is the inside. Okay, this one's funny. Trump's girth would prevent him from actually getting to the steering wheel of his SUV. Former Secret Service agent says, I don't see this president ever being able to do that, ever. Then President Donald Trump would have had to squeeze through an extremely tight space to be able to grab the steering wheel of an SUV and lunge at a Secret Service agent, as a former White House aide, Cassidy Hutchinson, testified Tuesday. It wouldn't be impossible, one former Secret Service agent said, but it would be unlikely that a 6'3", nearly 250-pound Trump, who agent noted is not the most agile human being, could pull off the move. Trump's not a little guy, right? And the space to actually be able to lunge towards the wheel is not that big, the former agent said, speaking on background to Insider. I don't mean to sound disparaging to the former resident, but just his girth would prevent him from actually getting to the steering wheel. Hutchinson's recounting of the SUV incident was one of the most explosive allegations during an extraordinary day of testimony on Tuesday to the House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. Hutchinson said she was told the incident occurred when Bobby Engel, the special agent in charge of Trump's security, prevented Trump from joining his supporters at the Capitol. She recounted a description of the incident, which she said was relayed to her shortly after by Tony Ornato, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations at the time, and the Engel was in the room. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab the steering wheel and said during her testimony, Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hands off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel, Hutchinson said, adding that Ornato motioned towards his clavicles when recounting the story. Engel previously told the committee about a disagreement over Trump's desire to go to the Capitol and that they returned to the White House instead. Politico reported last month, with CBS News and NBC News have reported that Secret Service agents are prepared to testify that Trump didn't try to take control of the SUV or lunge at them. We have and will continue to make any member of the Secret Service available to the committee. Anthony Guglielmi, a Secret Service spokesperson, told Insider. Former Secret Service agents questioned the account in interviews with Insider. There's just too much gray area to bet the farm on it. Bill Pickle, a former Deputy Assistant Director of the Secret Service, said, "Am I saying it didn't happen? I'm going to say that because we all know this guy can be pretty emotional. The fully armored SUV isn't like a typical Suburban. There are secret features separating the front and the back seats and jump seats in the back that make the space extremely tight," the former agent who spoke on the background said. "You have to slightly be a contortionist to get from the back cabin to the front cabin, and the president not a contortionist," he added. "Agents are trained to move from the front into the back seats quickly in the event of a medical situation. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not a pretty sight," the former agent said, adding that it's hard to believe the president would do that. "It's not impossible, right?" the former agent said with a laugh. I don't see this president ever being able to do that ever." This is pretty funny. Look, it's weird listening to these things because I'm 100% on board. Like, that fucking jackass, like, definitely tried to start a coup at the Capitol, and I'm just thinking in my head. Look, I have to first say I don't plan on ever doing anything like this. I'm too lazy, and I'd literally just be at home and be like, I'm too lazy.
What?
So I just think it's funny. So it was the situation, because like the situation I kind of initially heard was that Trump was like, "I want to go to the Capitol," and then the Secret Service was like, "No, we're going to the West Wing," and he was just kind of having a little baby bitch fit over the little boomer baby bitch fit, because he's a boomer, going over the whole situation, and then he tried to, like, I guess, mess with the driver. What does it say? The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab a steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arms. It's certain. Yeah. Okay, so this situation isn't like he was able to. He actually reached the wheel and shit like that. I think it just is he attempted. I think what we need to do is he attempted. They're probably making it sound like he did a lot more than that. As a man with a little chub himself, I will say it was probably the attempt. Not, he didn't get very close to it. I'm going to say this. I don't know. As someone who also has high blood pressure, and it's from anxiety. I had the lab test done. It's from anxiety. It's not from being fat, you fuckers. He looks like a guy with high blood pressure, which, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's a bad thing to have, but like it's nothing like that can't be controlled with meds. Like that's what I take. I take meds. I take a beta blocker for it. Trump looks like he has high blood pressure. I think Samuel Jackson looks like he has high blood pressure. Not really anything that matters. Also, I heard that like black people are more likely to have high blood pressure. I don't know where that scientific fact came from. I didn't make it up. I just read it once. I could be wrong. Don't take that advice from me. Just assume. Just say I heard it. Don't go ahead. So, look, I'm not saying he reached the steering wheel. He definitely didn't reach the steering wheel. That's just. I just know as a fat person, like I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy, and like we were like creeping through walls. I'm like, that's a skinny guy's game. That's definitely not a fat man's game. I just love how people are like, because you know the R words, which is Republicans, the new R word. They'll like try to poke holes in any fucking story. But like, Trump's too fat to actually reach the wheel. And that's their case to prove the libs wrong. Look, it would have been fun to watch a fat man struggle to reach the steering wheel in that car. Do I think he was close? No. Do I think he attempted it? Yes. I think they're talking about the attempt. They're describing the attempt. And that attempt also sounds like he didn't do a very good job with the attempt. But I love how this article went from like Trump's his like girth. He's like a girthy. It's like you're not trying to call him fat. He's like little girthy boy and wasn't able to reach the steering wheel as we took him to McDonald's. That dude eats a lot of McDonald's. I thought I used to eat a lot of McDonald's in high school. I don't eat as much McDonald's now. I try to eat better. I eat a lot of protein, but I try to eat a lot better. Like, what is the difference though? It's like getting a burger at McDonald's versus grilling a burger at home. Is there that much of a difference? I mean, if I go no bun, I don't know. Anyways, though, we've been talking about Trump's girth for a while. Let's move on to other people. This one's from Mashable. Minions set to shatter box office records because Gen Z is obsessed with it. Reader, I've never seen a Minions movie, but that has never stopped me from delighting in the myriad joys of its babbling, Twinkie-shaped underlings or vector orange tracksuits. One of the franchise's charm is its ability to transcend language and culture to unite us as one Grootiful family. And this weekend, thanks to us, it's doing it to the tune of $129 million. That's right, Minions: The Rise of Gru is projected to make more than $129 million, a new 4th of July weekend box office record. How did we get here? Well, the Minions marketing team has been hard at work, but Gen Z works harder. Through a series of Twitter and TikTok posts, they boosted the visibility of the film and transformed it from a movie to a living meme. Back in May, Jack Antonoff announced that he had produced the soundtrack of the movie, featuring covers of 70s hit from Diana Ross, Brockhampton, Callie Uchis, Phoebe Bridger, Jackson Wang, Thundercat, and more. That set the movie promotion off on the right foot, because who doesn't want to listen to Phoebe and think about silly little minions all day? Just as the Minions franchise escapes categorization, it is a film for children or adults. Is it a film for children or adults, Gen Z or geriatrics? So do its memes. The post below captured the diversity content that the internet has delivered us from the weekend in all its glory. Okay, so I think we should get this straight here. Let's be real, folks, fellas, boys. Okay, so the reason Gen Z are probably not fans of the Minions. I'm just gonna say they're making memes about it because they're making fun of it, how cringy and dumb the fucking Minions are. That's the reason why. Right? They don't like it. It's like saying Morbius was a good movie and that's why they had to re-release it in theaters. No one liked that movie. The movie is so bad it's a joke. Why do you think people are like, he doesn't actually say it's Morbin time in the movie, and it's Minion time. Actually, that doesn't work very well. It's Gruin time. That would work. It's Gruin time. That's my favorite part of the Despicable Me movies. Is Gruin time. Who Mashable. Kind of like, I assume you're a lot like BuzzFeed, and a little less cringe than BuzzFeed. But I'm going to tell you here, Gen Z doesn't actually like Minions. It's a joke to like Minions, and you don't understand the joke. People have also been wearing fucking suits to see the Minions movie, which is just funny. It's funny, but like they're like banning people from wearing suits to see the Minions movie. Look, it's one thing when people were dressing up like the Joker to see the Joker. The idea there is they're probably gonna like shoot up or murder people in the theater. That's the problem with the Joker problem. With Minions, if someone's wearing a suit to see the Minions, I'm just gonna give you an idea. It's part of the joke. The meme. You gotta understand, memes are supposed to be funny. They're not supposed to be serious. People who think memes are serious are basically people who are pretty fucking stupid. That's a fact right there. So don't come at me with that. I don't really give a shit. If you don't understand memes, just fucking, I don't know, fucking go on the internet or something. God damn, dude. Get a sense of humor. Oh boy, we got a fucking update from this motherfucker.
But I really like that.
All right, from Deseret News. Stranger Things. Garth Brooks reveals his Vecna song. Garth Brooks is by no stretch of the imagination obsessed with Stranger Things, but the country superstar recently revealed that he is a fan of the hit Netflix series From a Distance. Earlier this month, a few hours before his first of 2 concerts in Salt Lake City, Brooks spoke briefly with the Deseret News about the unifying and healing power of music. Naturally, the conversation turned to Stranger Things. Music has played a significant role on the show, and in Season 4, Volume 1, mild spoilers ahead, Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God, helps protect Max Mayfield from Vecna, the dark monster the teens of Hawkins, Indiana, are determined to defeat. Max's saving song became so popular that Bush, an English singer-songwriter, earned her first top 10 hit in the U.S. for the song she released 37 years ago, The Guardian reported. Brooks isn't up to date on Stranger Things. He said the people who help him with his Inside Studio G weekly live stream are the ones who are nuts about it. But he said he feels like he knows the show through the enthusiasm of his crew. When asked what song of his he believes could best protect people from Vecna, or more in general terms, lift people out of the pit of despair, the singer briefly paused before revealing his answer. It wasn't Friends in Low Places. We're lucky enough to have a number of anthems. For me, they're anthems because they say something. He told the Deseret News one is called The Change. And what it basically says is, they say you're crazy to try and change the world. But just make sure you understand. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm making sure the world doesn't change me. And that's a beautiful thing, he continued. So when you feel like you're down, when you feel like everybody's against you, just remember that. Brooks recorded The Change, written by Tony Aradas, who wrote Brooks' smash hit The Dance, and Wayne Tester in 1995. The song reached number 19 on the Billboard U.S. Hot Country Songs. If you want to give the song a listen, you'll have to visit Amazon Music, which holds an executive streaming deal with Brooks. Stranger Things. Season 4, Volume 2 hit Netflix on July 1st. So look, first of all, I want to say here for everyone listening to the show, I have watched Volume 2 of Season 4 of Stranger Things. I will talk about it next week because it came out on Friday. I record these on Mondays, and basically that's not enough time for me to spoil the whole fucking thing for everyone. I like to give it a little bit like a week or so. I'm like, if you haven't watched it yet, you're not going to watch it. So anyways, though, fucking Garth Brooks. First of all, Garth, what the fuck happened to my dad? We need your goddamn fucking alibi of what you've been doing between April 15th, 1958 through April 14th, 2022. We just need to know your alibi, Garth. I'm not saying you killed my dad. I'm just saying I like an alibi from you because I don't want you to be like,
I like that.
To my dad being dead. Possibly you dug up his grave and put him in your crawl space. Because you got friends in crawl spaces where the smell is bad and the odor chases your dogs away. And you'll be okay. Okay. Anyways, though. Okay. For just Deseret News, are you just? I guess you asked. I don't think this is Garth's fault. I guess in this, I guess Deseret News. I still want to blame Garth, but Deseret News or whatever. What song would save you from the Vecna? Have you watched Stranger Things? And he said no. Unless you're like on live TV, you got to figure that out. And if you're on live TV, you'd be like, "Hey, do you know?" You would talk to Garth's representatives. Hey, has you watched Stranger Things? And they'd be like, "No." Okay, I'm gonna ask him another question. I'm not gonna fucking ask him about Stranger Things. Nah, I haven't watched it. Well, there's this thing called the Vecna, and the only way to save you from it is a song you like. And, as a music person, and especially if you're a music person and watching, I'm like, oh, I think that's really cool. And so, like, that's how he answered the song from there. But, like, my idea is, like, I'm Garth Brooks. I think I'm going to play one of my own songs to save us from the Vecna. This is what's going to save us from the Vecna. I'm Garth Brooks. I killed Schweezy's dad. Shit like that. Garth, what happened to my fucking dad? Anyways, though, yeah, I like how Garth would pick one of his own. I know Garth doesn't know the context of this really, but I just like the idea that he chose one of his songs for this instead of I really like, he did the whole, somebody to love, can anybody? Why am I struggling? Oh, because I'm singing I'm whispering. Find me. Can Garth find me somebody to love G? And he did that weird thing for fucking the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. I guess he could do something fucking weird for this as well. I don't know. Fuck you, Garth. What happened to my fucking dad, Garth? And you got friends in crawl spaces. Anyways, though, let's move on to our final article. I've been trying lately to end previous week right now on more positive news articles, and today is one of those positive news articles. So let's get into it. Kitten rescued from Walmart vending machine. From WRAL in Morristown, Tennessee. A kitten is safe after being rescued from inside a vending machine at a Tennessee Walmart last week. There were no details about how the kitten got inside, but according to a Facebook post from the city of Morristown, a Walmart employee named Lindsay called the fire department for help. When firefighters arrived, they could hear the kitten crying but couldn't see it inside the Pepsi machine. They unplugged it and took it back to the time of the machine off, and they still couldn't find the little kitty. Fire crews finally spotted the gray kitten in a small opening and eventually coaxed it out. According to the post, Lindsay took the kitten home with her. Fire crews joked about naming it Pepsi. And so luckily that cat got saved from the Pepsi machine. Man, I think it is really funny. You think about how cats, it's pretty amazing that, because I think, what did I hear? I heard if they can get their, head through it, I guess they can get the rest of their body through it. So even with their chunky boys, they can still get through an opening for that, which, that's kind of interesting, thinking about it. How cats can just fit into a lot of things. And the fact that I got, they, in a small opening, eventually, which they didn't really explain too much, probably didn't know how it is. I bet it was just in a really crooked area. I just love the idea. Cats are just curious, so they'll they'll sneak in little fucking areas, try to see where they can go. It got into there. I wish it was drinking a Pepsi. That'd have been really funny. But no, it makes sense for fucking Walmart. If you've been to a Walmart before, you've seen a bird inside Walmart. Don't tell me you have not seen a bird inside Walmart. You have seen a bird inside Walmart. And I don't know. What else do I have to say about this? I just like how the kitten was rescued. It was a kitten, so it was pretty small. So yeah, it was probably able to fit into the random things. It was amazing. Yeah, you'd have to name, if you don't name that cat Pepsi, I don't know what's fucking wrong with you. You got to name that cat Pepsi. After rescuing it from its almost death in a Pepsi machine, the cat has to be named Pepsi. Should you feed the cat Pepsi? No. I would say don't feed the cat Pepsi. But yeah, maybe name it Pepsi. Maybe have some fun. Don't be weird about that. Let's just name the cat. Let's name the cat Pepsi. What did they say what color it was? No, they didn't say what color it was. If it was a darker color cat, I'm definitely Pepsi. Definitely Pepsi. But you only go to the Pepsi machines to get some Mountain Dew and Yeah.
What?
Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. So it's time for another segment of Deep Thoughts.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
So Deep Thoughts is the segment of the deep thoughts that I've had throughout the week. That now I'm going to be talking about all over the internet, even if they're a little spicy. Now, I don't think I don't think these are that spicy. But anyways, though, they're just some deep thoughts.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
That I wanted to go over. All right, so some of you know I'm staying with my mom because my dad's dead. Now, if you know, gotta take a drink. So my mom's been watching Reba, and I don't think it's that bad of a show. And so I'll just occasionally watch it with her. I haven't seen every episode, but I've seen a lot. So there's an episode where Reba's son Jake, long story short, he accidentally joins a wheelchair basketball team. Now, if you haven't watched the show, her son Jake can walk. No one in the show really can't walk. That gave me like the thought here, and I think I had this little bit of a conversation with my mom, but more or less though, here's the thought I have. Is it okay for someone who can walk to play wheelchair basketball, assuming other people on the team, or a majority of the people cannot walk? They are wheelchair bound. And also the rules is like the people who can use their legs do not use their legs in the game. Like they're also in a wheelchair. That's the idea. So everyone's in a wheelchair. No one can use their legs. Like that's like, it's a very interesting thought. Like, thinking about it, because to be honest, in my mind, someone in a wheelchair would actually play. Like if everyone has to play in a wheelchair and no one can use their feet, theoretically, that's basically gonna happen. Even like people in wheelchairs, like I guess some of them can move their feet in a certain sense. Like they have some movement there. It's just not like enough to be able to walk or whatever. In my mind, it seems like someone who's in a wheelchair, who basically lives their entire life moving themselves around in a wheelchair. Because typically if you're wheelchair bound, unless you have an electric wheelchair, I assume, most people in wheelchair basketball, they have to like they can't use a fucking electric chair. I feel like I don't know a lot about wheelchair basketball. I'm gonna be honest with y'all for a second though, but I assume everyone has to like push their own wheelchair, because I mean, it would have to be fair for everyone in the game or whatever. I assume people who would need an electric chair probably aren't, but people who push themselves around in a wheelchair, and most of the time they're like, well, I don't know. See, I'm kind of fat, so I'd be like, yeah, you can push me around. But most people, most people in wheelchairs, like, I don't need help, because, they want to be self-sufficient, and most of the time it's fine. There's nothing wrong with being in a wheelchair. If you're hot and you're in a wheelchair, I will fuck you. That is something I'll let y'all know that. We'll fuck you. The one thing that the show Reba did get wrong about it, though, is that, like, Jake is terrible at shooting, standing up, playing normal basketball, like, but he was like the all-star on this team. Because I guess the joke of the idea in the show was that he's a person who can walk, but he's really good at wheelchair basketball. But I feel like there's a lot of fundamentals to basketball that you'd have to know to be able to be good at wheelchair basketball. I assume if you're in a wheelchair or you're able-bodied, the shooting abilities should be the same, assuming you both have full strength of your arms. And in some cases, maybe you could be a little bit better at shooting if you're in a wheelchair because you probably have a lot more upper body strength than most people do. That might be overthinking things, though. But no, to me, in my mind, though, assuming everything's like equal ground, and I'd assume there'd be a lot of situations, and I bet in a lot of leagues, I don't know a lot about wheelchair basketball, but I assume in a lot of leagues, they may not have enough players, on the teams or whatever, to have a full team or whatever. So they may try to recruit people, be like, hey, you want to play wheelchair basketball? We think you're really good. And, I think it'd be a fun challenge for you. And so I bet some able-bodied people will be like, yeah, I'm into it. And I feel like, it should be fair. I think it's fair. I'm starting to think it's a deep thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep.
I play it.
I fucking love it.
So like it's that, but you consider going forward with that. It would require the same amount of skill, assuming like the people who are able to play wheelchair basketball, and it's like different. It's a different set of skills too, but I don't think it necessarily matters if you're able-bodied or not. I think the idea of wheelchair basketball is people who can't walk are able to play basketball, but I don't think someone who is able to walk should play. Like, now I'm thinking, like, if you're able to walk, it shouldn't be like walking versus wheelchair or whatever. Like, that's fucking stupid. I know that's fucking stupid, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's able. And like, worst case scenario, you kind of like gently tie someone's feet down so they're not like kicking or bullshit. My mindset is, I believe it's fair, and honestly, I feel like it would be a little bit harder for someone who's walking because they're not used to, in general, working in a wheelchair as much as someone who isn't. Like, I'm not a runner, but if I had to run, I would die. I'd feel like dying, but I would also I'd be able to do it running, even though I'm not like really a professional runner. Now, like pushing myself in a wheelchair around a track for a mile, like it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different story. So, yeah, that's what my first deep thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
The other deep thought I had this week. All right, so you're a woman. Whoever's listening to this, you're a woman, and you date a man. So sorry for anyone. I'm sorry for the other genders out there who weren't involved in this thought. My formal apology. Sorry for my microaggression. Okay, but you're a lady. And you start dating a man who has two dads. Should you really expect him to be putting the toilet seat down? Like how much, obviously there's the idea of like maybe getting used to it. Even then, like I'm lazy enough where I fucking leave. I just leave the seat down, wipe the. And for the ladies listening to the show today, or the vagina, actually this applies to all vagina havers who will eventually live with the penis haver and deal with this. The reason why, if there's like a big puddle of piss, that's a problem. I mean, it's that you're like, that guy doesn't know how to aim. Now, if it's just a couple drops, the thing is, like, when you get done, when you get your mainstream out, it starts dribbling a little bit. That's why you sometimes find it, and sometimes you don't catch all of them. I'm a guy who will wipe it down with his sock. I don't even fucking care if you judge me for that shit. I do not give a shit if you judge me for that. I at least clean it up. I clean up. If I accidentally get a couple dribbles of my own piss on the toilet seat, I will wipe it down. Worst case scenario. I like how the worst case scenario was the best solution, where I wipe it down with toilet paper. No, and sometimes you just leave the toilet seat down and be like, I just won't lift it up. My dream situation, if I could build my own house, I'm telling you this. If I ever get to a situation where I get to build my own house in the bathroom, obviously the bidet is going in the toilet, 100%. I already have a bidet in my current toilet right now, but that toilet also involves pee. I will love, in like the master bedroom, assuming I have a ride or die.
First of all, ride or die, bitch.
Assuming, I have one of those. A urinal, I want a urinal installed in the bathroom. I'm a big fan of urinals. I don't even mind if I have to be the one to clean it. Because it's just like, it's so much easier. You can get like right up close to it. You don't have to worry about droppings all over the floor. It's different. I don't know. It's somewhat different than a toilet with a urinal. Like, it's just, I don't know. And some people are like, urinals are gross. I'm like, well, I like peeing standing up. I'm telling you this. The only time I pee sitting down is if something else is coming out of my butt. Fingers crossed it's poop. Situation like that. Anyways, though, that's not even like much of a deep thought. I'm just like, that's more of like a PSA, ladies. If you're man, for the straights out there, ladies, if you're man, if he doesn't put the toilet seat down and he has two dads, it's an adjustment period for him, and you just gotta like shut the fuck up.
I identify as a fucking threat.
Anyway, so that's our end of deep thoughts for today. Let's move on to everything else we're going to talk about. I recently watched Life in Pink. Basically, it's a documentary on Hulu, owned by Disney. Why Disney hasn't? I guess someone owes another part of Hulu. Anyways, though, I'm just kind of pissed of having Disney Plus and Hulu. I just want them to fucking dissolve Hulu, have Peacock take part of it, and then Disney take the rest, but they now have original. It's a long story. Anyway, I watched Life in Pink on Hulu, and so I want to talk about that. Now, I have really enjoyed Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly is what Life in Pink is about. I've really enjoyed his albums, Mainstream Sellout and Tickets to My Downfall. I've been really enjoying those two albums. I've listened to some of his rap stuff. I don't know. I've kind of just over rap music in general. Like, when I really got into like hip hop and rap was like when Childish Gambino, Chance the Rapper, that era before SoundCloud kind of took over hip hop and rap. So now it's just kind of like a bunch of shit. It's just a bunch of shit out now. Thinking about so just kind of like slowly moving forward from there. So it's talking about this. So basically, what this documentary starts with, it goes from like after he released Hotel Diablo, going to his current album, Mainstream Sellout. So it's kind of like a documentary of everything that's happened, kind of in between there. And so it is a very interesting story because mainly, if you didn't know anything about Machine Gun Kelly, like you knew he was a rapper for a while, he had a couple of hits. And stuff like that, but then he switched to pop punk music, and then that's when, and those songs were the ones that really kind of like took off and really helped his career out a lot. But and people just think like, oh, he failed at rap, and so he decided to switch to pop punk and be a rocker, like a rock guy. So it was really cool. And so the nice thing about this documentary, and so I'm telling anyone, first of all, I'll tell anyone who thinks Machine Gun Kelly switched from like rap to rock music because he failed at it. No, that wasn't necessarily the case. Like his album Hotel Diablo, that album was actually pretty successful. And that album like really put him actually on the map as like a rap artist and stuff like that. So really, I guess like I think his record label was expecting him to actually be releasing another rap album. instead of actually kind of like where he actually went. Basically what happened, the story that went through the documentary, and that could have been fake, but I like to believe documentaries are 100% true. Basically what happened, but how it goes in through the documentary, is that basically he was doing rap music and he was kind of like touring with Hotel Diablo, and then, the pandy hit. And so when the pandy hit, everyone was just kind of like just figuring out shit to do and to waste time and stuff like that. And basically what MGK decided to do was that he was like, I'm going to and he just started playing guitar a lot more. Like, he already knew how to play guitar, but he's just like, I'm going to play guitar more. Basically, he was doing that. He was like posting shit on his Instagram, and eventually he got together with Travis Barker. They started collaborating, and basically after that, Tickets to My Downfall was made. Somehow they didn't mention the cover of Misery Business by Paramore they did together. Look, I bet everyone wants to know my opinion on that, apparently. Here's the thing. Like, I like the originals Machine Gun Kelly's been doing in the pop punk genre. But I also have to say, like, his covers, I guess he did a System of a Down cover as well. What I have to say about that, I don't think he really has the vocal range to be doing a lot of covers like that. Like, he has a very limited vocal range, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Like, when they write his albums mainstream style out and they write Tickets to My Downfall, when they wrote those, they wrote those for his voice, and that's really work. That's the thing about writing music. You have to write it for your voice. If you're the artist and you're going to be the singer and you have a very limited vocal range, that's why Johnny Cash was such a big artist, because he wrote songs I guess he may have written with other people. He wrote songs for his vocal range, and that's what made it work with Johnny Cash. And I think with Machine Gun Kelly's original music, I think that's what really works for what his original music is doing. And so it's just like, and one example I will say, though, if you're like trying to not understanding what I'm trying to say here. So in Paramore's song Misery Business, Hayley Williams goes, "Whoa, I never meant to brag." And the specifics you want to go to when listening to that is the whoa. It's a scoop up. Whoa. That's what you're listening to. Now, when Machine Gun Kelly does that song, instead of doing the whoa, I never meant to brag, he does whoa, I never meant to brag. Mainly because he doesn't have that vocal control. I'm not saying his voice is bad. I'm just saying he doesn't have the voice to be singing that song. That's the thing. And so basically what happened is Melodyne or Autotune or whatever they were using for pitch correction, and he was probably trying to scoop up to it. He's like, whoa, I never meant to brag. They just kind of corrected it, so it's, whoa, I never meant to brag. For me, I went to school and I did singing lessons and stuff like that, which is not that specific style, but I kind of understand how skipping, whoa, so I could do that, but I'm not saying necessarily he should do that. And I just think, when you have a voice, you have to know your limitations with your voice, yada, 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 that's it. Yeah, so basically after that, they missed that. They missed the Misery Business part of it. They just skipped that all together. But then, yeah, they made Tickets to My Downfall. And Tickets to My Downfall, I thought, was a great album, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed listening. That was probably one. I didn't have a lot of favorite albums in 2020, and that was probably my favorite album in 2020. Just saying that. I didn't do it. 2021, I had a good thing, which is on the channel too. Go check that out. Favorite albums of 2021. Oh yeah, they did this other scene. They basically have everyone in the room, all the record label executives, assistants, yada, yada, yada. A lot of them were on their phones. I know they were taking notes on their phone, but it's just such an LA thing for people to just be like, on their phone, be like, yeah, okay. So yeah, this is I just think of that scene from You, the season 2, where Delilah is like showing Joe his plays and she's just on her phone the whole time looking at it and stuff like that. Just like, there's something on my phone that's that interesting for me I have to be on it 24/7. And those are the same people like you actually try to text to get to know them, and sorry, I didn't see my phone, but when you're around them, they're like on their phone the entire fucking time. Like, those people fucking annoy me. Anyways, though, I saw those people, and like he was in the room, like they were all listening to the album, because basically they had to have most record labels, they make you listen to the album and shit like that, stuff like that, which makes sense, and it makes sense, but I also kind of hate it at the same time, because they're trying to sell a product. But as an artist, I fucking hate that. Anyways, though, in that scene, Machine Gun Kelly, he like jumps on the table and is like air guitaring and rocking out. I'm like, could you imagine being a millennial? You just hung over because life sucks and you drink all the time, going to your fucking corporate suit job, making shit ass music, but then like you kind of have some songs you kind of like, but you're also hungover, and then like this dude just starts fucking air guitaring on the table, like pretending to rock out. That would just fucking annoy me. That would annoy the fucking shit out of me. Also, I want to talk about, like, through this documentary, everyone calls him Kells. So I thought that was like a variation of his name Colson. Like, I know, it makes sense out of his date. Like I'm telling you, I'm Schweezy. That's not my real name. It's a variation of my real name. And the nice thing about having a stage name, a lot of actors don't go by their real names. The reason why you have that is because just when you have to do real world shit, like say Anne Hathaway, she goes by Annie or whatever. People call her Annie Hathaway or whatever. I don't know. Or Kelly Clarkson, she got divorced. Instead of going back to Kelly Clarkson, her like maiden name, she's like Kelly Leanne or something like that. Like that's her full name now. It's just nice to be like Kelly Leanne, and then because you were like, I'm Kelly Clarkson, you're like, whoa, you're that famous chick. But I'm you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I thought it was like a variation of Colson, but apparently it's Kells. After I turn on the captions, it's a variation of Kelly. So it's like people just call him Kelly. That's kind of weird. Another thing, like people started talking a lot of shit about like him on the phone with Megan Fox when he wanted to kill himself. But I'm like, can we all like be nice to people like who are having, like we talk about it all the time. It's like, if you're struggling, you need help, I'm here for you, I'll call you. And then like this documentary comes out and like it's like, MGK was on the phone with Megan Fox and he felt like killing himself. And now people are like joking about that shit. Like, as people was like, if you need someone to talk to, like call me. I'm like, look, if you're like the kind of person who makes fun of like Machine Gun Kelly who wants to kill himself, and then you're like telling me that I'll be here for you if you need me. I'm like, I don't think you really give a shit. You just have a fucking hero white savior complex. Like, fuck you. Like I like Machine Gun Kelly. I think he's, I think basically I know friends who've met him, who know him, know him. And basically what they say is like he takes too many drugs and drinks too much, like where he just acts like a fucking doofus asshole kind of thing. But when he's like normal sober, he's a very, very nice guy. That's what I've heard from my friends I know who know him. But anyways though, like you should never. I just hate. It's the same people. It's the same people who are joking. Like, oh, if anyone's ever feeling down or feeling like they want to end their own life, please talk to me. Those are the same fucking people who are making fun of him for like wanting to kill himself. Like after his dad died, and like he's having to go through all his dad's stuff and help move it all out and go sort through it. Like these are the same people who are making fun of him for that shit. Like. Fuck them. Fuck you. If you're like that kind of person, go fuck yourself. For real. I think that's all I have to say on this documentary. Overall, I really enjoyed it. It's very interesting because like I kind of very interesting on albums I like. It's nice seeing a documentary on at least two albums that I've really enjoyed and seeing how they were made. I never really thought Machine Gun Kelly did a lot of the guitar parts on those albums. Like, he did that one time, he did a solo and it kind of sucked ass, like, live. Like, there was one time. Overall, he's not, like, a soloist or whatever, but, like, he played a majority of the guitar parts, like, on those albums, which is very impressive. Like, some of those parts, I think, are really good, and I think they really fit, and production-wise, lyric-wise, I think there's a lot of good things on that music. So, overall, very interesting documentary. I'd suggest that I guess I'll only suggest that if you've enjoyed the last two Machine Gun Kelly albums, I would say that's when you should probably go watch it. We also have The Way Down Part 2. So the most popular highlight on this channel, the most popular thing I've been getting was from The Way Down when I talked about Gwen Shamlin's Church, the HBO Max documentary. And I was kind of upset they didn't include clips of me in the documentary. I'm just saying they could have used those. I would have signed off on them. I don't give a shit. I would have signed off on all that shit. But I guess for those of you who need, I'll only update it for you. The Way Down, it's a documentary on HBO Max. It's about church leader Gwen Shamblin, Laura, but the Laura's pretty recent. In her church, it's in Nashville, where I'm from, and it was basically like right where I was. And I've driven in that parking lot. I've driven past it hundreds of times. It's in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is basically a suburb of Nashville. But it's where all the rich people, Brentwood, Franklin, that's where all the rich people in Nashville live. Basically, it's people like that. Anyways, like that. So it's basically a church cult, rich people. But the thing with this church cult that's different than other ones, it was about like how you can lose weight, because Gwen Shamblin started like a weight loss program called like The Way Down. And it was WEIGH, down, help people lose weight, which was like, God will help you lose weight. And it was, and like, whenever you're hungry, just pray to God. So it was really just portion control for people. And that's how they lost weight. Which when you talk about like a portion control, there's good and bads to it. Like, it's like portion control, I just won't eat today. That's bad portion control. Good portion control is like, hey, I'm going to eat these meals today. It's going to equal out to like 1,500, 1,700 calories. 100 calories, and it'll be good, and I'll be good. I'll have a calorie deficit. I should be good. But also was kind of very toxic. They also talked about beating the shit out of children when they misbehave or annoy the shit out of you, which is not cool. I do not support that. And I know there's probably some people who listen to this, and some even friends and family of mine that are like, well, I'll spank my kid, but I don't want to, like, I'm not going to beat them. And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't spank them. Like, I just don't think it really helps, like, I don't know. I don't think the spanking part's what's doing good. I think I don't think it helps, and I don't think it's the real fixture of anything like that. Anyway, okay, moving on. So basically they had 3 episodes, and it was probably going to be like a 3-episode documentary, but then they had like a plane crash in Percy Priest Lake, which is like near Nashville, and like Joe Lara was the pilot of the plane, and so it's not very. I'm going to say this. If you're piloting a plane and you don't really get out of the metro area of where you flew off from, you're probably not that good of a pilot. And that's the case. I remember me and my friends were talking about it when they initially were in the lake. We're like, I bet the people doing like the search party and shit for that were like, whoever finds Gwen's wig is the winner. So they probably, I'm not making fun of their deaths. I don't think that's important. So that kind of go into the death. I thought there was some weird conspiracy theory about the death of it. I remember when it was initially, when it was initially announced I thought my friend told me that they were sending like the text out before the events happened, but I'm not entirely sure that nothing was really proven for that. So I'm not going to really go about that. I thought there was a conspiracy there. I'm going to say no. I'm going to make sure that there's actual proof before we actually go through any sort of real conspiracy theory in regards to that. Anyways, I bet that search party was like, I found the wig! And stuff like that. Basically, they kind of explained, doing research, and they actually had someone, they didn't have a church person do this. They had like a guy who knows about piloting shit like that. Basically, Joe Lara was the one who was flying the plane. And basically, like, he paid to have his license renewed, but with flying, I guess how they market, I'm a musician, so we talk about like the 10,000 hour rule, because it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So I understand you have to practice, you have to do things over and over again to be good at them, to be a master. Like, why you think you hire professionals to do certain things, because they put the 10,000 hours in to do something. So Joe Lara, he paid to have his like flight license renewed, but like his hours actually flying weren't that much. And so definitely, like, when you fly, like, even if you fly Spirit, even them, I like how I'm like talking shit on Spirit. You fly Spirit Airlines, basically they know that like those pilots still have flown a lot.
What?
In their travels and shit like that. And so that's something like you have to worry about with them. But like Joe Lara just has not flown a lot, and it's basically, and that's another thing. So like I guess I say like Joe Lara doesn't have a lot of hours in on flying a plane. And you're like, what if I fly on a, I go through an international airport and I fly somewhere. Those pilots are flying all the goddamn time. Like, you do not have to worry. They even also have a co-pilot. And what is a co-pilot on flying? Basically, there's two guys who are perfectly fine with flying. One guy's actually probably flying the plane. But if that guy has a heart attack and dies, there's another guy there to help out. Basically, they have like two pilots, one in case the first one dies. So I don't think people should be fucking worried about that if you're worried. So that's a big part of the documentary, and I feel like they should have just waited out till they finished that section of the documentary and just put that as the final episode and finished off there. But they had another episode, which consisted of other people who was like, I want to step forward with what they have done in my life. And like I said, we were talking about the last clip I did, or the last time I talked about this. It's better when I talk about the last time and I wish people, if please tell me you've watched the first one before you go to this one, because I really did talk about how shitty they fucking are and how shitty and toxic they are. But now we get to this other part, and it's been so long, I'm like, yeah, I already knew this. So I didn't really care about their testimonies and shit like that. But obviously, it's the same from the last one. So if whatever was said in the last one is different. The only different story we heard was a guy. I guess he came out as gay, and he told Gwen Shamlin he was gay, and Gwen basically shunned him, and they made everyone else in the church shun him. And eventually he went away. So that's the only difference. But also, like, that doesn't really surprise me. And I feel bad for that guy because, like, he just wants the place to be accepted and stuff like that. And church is not that place. I know you... It's weird because you really like this idea of God, but then everyone's like, oh, you're gay. The Old Testament says it, but it also says that women can get abortions, but I don't like that, so we're going to ignore it. Fuck the Bible. And they also showed a pilot of like a failed reality show they tried to launch, and it wasn't even interesting and stuff like that. So that's another thing they talked about. And now I guess the church was run by Elizabeth Shamlin Hannah. That's Gwen's daughter. Domlin? What the fuck am I saying? And she looks horrifying. She looks like Jamie Campbell Bowers, like the vampire he played in Twilight. She looks just like him. They also showed... Okay, so in the initial video I made about this, they showed... I talked about, like, on Franklin Road. Like, that's the road there's like a million churches on. A church I used to go to that was pro-gay. I just want to say that. I'm not that guy. It was like this road, Franklin Road, a ton of churches or rich people churches out in Brentwood, Franklin, Tennessee. And they put a billboard up of this documentary on that road, and it wasn't far from where this church is. That's like the weird thing. They showed them just putting up that billboard on that road, which I don't understand that. Like, that was only a funny thing for people in the community. Now they're like, yeah, we're going to try to be assholes with this documentary. I think that's everything I have to say about this. Yeah, so if it wasn't for the plane crash, I don't think the last two parts of this documentary were really necessary. Now, I hope people actually have watched the first part of this. The highlight is up on the Cancel Schweezy channel now. Or I can't remember what actual episode we did talk about. It was back in the fall of 2021. But no, make sure you check that out because it is a good documentary. But like, if you watch it now and you haven't watched any parts of it now, you would be very shocked in and awe of like the horrible shit this church did. But if you watch that part back in the fall and you watch this part now, like you're gonna be like, there's really nothing new minus the plane crash. Like, we really just needed like to figure. I really just want to know what happened with the plane crash and where they are now, and yeah, that's all I really need to know. So, I don't know. I don't think this needs to be in two parts. They should have just waited to get more information on the plane crash and finish it. That's just me in like an artistic sense, but I don't know. What are y'all thinking? I don't know. What are y'all thinking?
Man proposes and God disposes.
That's a good way to think about it. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? the vibes are on, then all of a sudden you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor Drizly is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show. All right, so it's time for Ask Schweezy. What is Ask Schweezy, may be asking? It's when you ask Schweezy questions and I answer them the best I can. Hit me up on Instagram, email theshwedcast@gmail.com. I don't know why I still don't have an updated email address for that from the fucking old show, not the new show. I get like messages. It's like, hey, I'd love to be a guest on the Schwedcast. I'm like, okay, look, you clearly don't listen to this fucking podcast, so you're can also not consider that. It's like, anyways, we gotta get into the fucking questions that you all have. So I guess let's just get into it. Yeah, we're gonna get into it right now, and you're gonna fucking tell me what you think. You're gonna complain in the comments about everything I got wrong. So let's go into it. I'm a gay man, but I think I'd like to have sex with a girl. There are obviously more straight men than there are gay men, so for my entire teenage and adult life, I've read and heard stories about heterosexual men. I've never found this information useful for obvious reasons, but it got me thinking that I could easily satisfy a girl by using the tips and tricks I've read my entire life. I watch straight porn 99% of the time, and I know it's fake, but it turns me on so much. How do I go about meeting up with someone, doing the deed, and parting ways afterwards just to see if I like it? We have Grindr in the gay community. If there's something similar for the straights, I'm gonna be okay. So let's go into that fucking Grindr comment that you just fucking made. If they made Grindr for fucking straight couples, women would be, first of all, sexually harassed nonstop, but also probably sexually assaulted as well. The fact that I'm giggling right now is a bad thing because I'm laughing at the idea there's a version of Grindr for straight people. Because for men, it's like, yeah, I just want to bust a nut. I'll just do it with anyone. But just for someone thinking is there a way that I could just find a woman who wants to have sex with? She would be assaulted so quickly. She's probably been assaulted before. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but there's those women who've been assaulted and they just kind of lean into it at that point or whatever. It's not a good thing. I'm just saying it happens. So there is no such thing as Grindr for the straights. So basically, here's the thing, buddy. You don't sound that gay. 99% of the time you watch straight porn, Like, that's how you get off. But you identify as being gay. See, you don't sound that... I'm not you. I don't know you. But there's something about what porn you get off to that says a lot about who you are as a person. Like, there's guys who watch lesbian porn. And that says a lot about the guy you're thinking about. Like, that says a lot about the guy. Like, I only watch lesbian porn. I don't want to see a dick when I'm jerking off. And it's something, okay. I'm like, well, that's not gay. But what is that exactly? Like, I don't fucking know. But you're gay, but every time you watch porn, you watch straight porn. Okay, I'm gonna give you this idea. Okay, so it doesn't sound like you've had sex with a woman, a female, as some people would say. Here's the thing: if you just want to bust a nut with a woman, this is gonna be very harsh, and so I'm just warning everyone here that this is gonna be a very harsh comment. You're gonna have to fuck a fat chick, like. There's like, and most chicks are like going to be offended. Like, oh. And I'm like, you're not fat. You just have a little bit of body fat. There's a difference between being an obese woman and just having some body fat. There's nothing wrong with you. There's plenty of women I would still fuck that would not consider themselves skinny. Be like, I'm fat. I'm like, yeah, no, I'd still fuck. Like, let's just be honest though. I'm like, but you, my friend, you're like, I want to have sex with a woman. Like, it's going to have to be a woman who doesn't get fucked a lot, so she's horny. And those are the obese women. The very obese women are going to be the ones you get to fuck. So, just saying, if you're just looking for a woman to fuck, you're going to have to find a very obese woman. Now, but like, there's so much more in what you're saying that I'm more concerned about. Like, the fact that 99% of the time you watch straight porn. Buddy, you okay, I want you to have sex with a woman. I want you to go out there, have sex with a woman. I want you to reevaluate your sexuality, because I don't know if you're 100% gay. Everyone listening here has to agree with me here, or else you're banned. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I'm moving on. I have to move on. Why do we only like the smell of our own farts, but not other people's? Finally, something I know what to talk about. Okay. So I've been told, as someone said, so there's something, okay, so what I know, I'm not a scientist. I don't know why it's always like, I'm not a scientist when I'm doing this section of the pod. But there's something about, like, when you fart and that smell comes out, that's the smell of your own colon and your own bacteria and all your own other shit that in regards to that. And so, like, when you smell that, the reason why your nose and your brain, like, why when it goes to your nose, basically everything that happens is like with your smell, like, you smell it and then that smell has to go to your brain for you to process it. And your brain processes it as your own internal organs, your own biome, your own bacteria, your own fart, your own smell or whatever. And so your mind then realizes, like, oh, this is safe. This came out of me. This is safe. And so you smell it and you're like, oh, that's kind of nice. And you're like, oh, it's gross. But, like, my mind's like, that's gross. But I'm not throwing up right now, you're not, like, disgusted. You're not like, oh, that's gross. I'm like, but, it's familiar to you. I think it's just your brain's way. It's probably, like, some sort of evolutionary trait that we know, like, we fart, like, we fart and, like, we smell it. We know, like, the fart is safe, it's just your body releasing gas or whatever, knowing that it's, like, a safe substance, and then, knowing that you're safe. Yeah, I know. Fucking the.
Come on, Mark. At least
yeah. So fucking lot of things to process there. So yeah, I guess I think evolutionarily, that's probably not a real word. It's just our body's way of saying, like, that's safe. You're fine. Don't worry about it. I think probably that's the way to figure that shit out. in regards to how we're existing in this world. We are the world. We are the children. I'm gonna move on. How come almost every pop song is about the singer being / having been in a toxic relationship? I don't listen to radio or whatever, but every time I am forced to listen to some mainstream music, the song is quite literally almost about somebody either being stuck in a toxic relationship, finally being over the stupid toxic ex, and how you don't care anymore. Meanwhile, though, singing a whole song about the ex and trying to rub it in some shit. Crying about a toxic ex, sometimes feeling like they are singing directly to the ex while being all whiny about it, or toxic friends and people in general. On the other hand, somewhat glorifying mental issues. Heard the song where the guy literally says, honestly, you and me, we don't need no therapy. The fuck is that? And generally just promoting shitty and way over the top hedonistic lifestyle choices, but I guess that's nothing new. Why is that? As a songwriter myself, I think I am the appropriate one to answer. So, when I write, I'll say this first. When I write music, I try to be the person, I'm going to write from my own experiences. I'm not going to try to, make up a goddamn fucking situation that isn't real to make a song out of it and to see if I can make a sale. That's me when I write music. However, a lot of these pop artists, and especially with the writers they put in the room with them, to help them write said song, are either normal people who have to deal with this shit, or they're just people who are very good at turning a phrase, writing a song, etc., etc., etc. So that's the people. You have to just understanding the industry. I know the people who are in the room when these songs are written. So there's obviously there's an idea of maybe someone in the room who's helping write this song is going through the situation. Maybe the actual artist is going through the situation. Not super hard. And also don't think just because they wrote one song about it doesn't mean they're also writing a bunch of other songs about it. That's why maybe one artist wrote 3 or 4 songs that also kind of sound like they were in a toxic relationship with someone and they were very mean to them and they weren't a very good person to them in this relationship. And so they wrote a couple songs about it. They wrote a bunch of songs about it. That's it. They wrote a whole fucking album about it. It's not that uncommon, stuff like that. Sometimes, and then you also think about relationships in general. Sometimes you date someone who is a toxic person, but they're not necessarily a actual toxic person. They're just a toxic person ... to you. And so then, you have something to write songs about. So, you get people who have been in that and they kind of understand that. But you also have to understand at the same time, we are very creative people. And so we have to figure out the idea of wordplay, how words will work. And then you also have this idea of, I get certain lines stuck in my head and I, write certain things. I think I mentioned forever ago, I wrote a line that was, you weren't my cup of tea. You may not have been my cup of tea, but I'm more into coffee. I'm like, yeah, that's a good line. Stuff like that. There's so many different lines. I'm just thinking on the top of my head right now. That's the first one that came to my mind. Just songwriters like that. So you can't have that. You also have the idea of you have to write music that is relatable for these artists who are just trying to write a song that's going to be a hit. You have to realize to be a hit, a lot of people have to like it, and a lot of people have to relate to said song. That is how music works. So if the people have to relate to songs, what are people very much going to relate to? Toxic relationships. What do you think about toxic relationships? Well, we think about how our phones, how the internet, and how everything like that has really made kind of really ruined relationships and stuff like that. We're I'm not saying that it's the ruiner of relationships, but people want someone who's worthy enough to be on their Instagram, worthy enough to help them be famous and stuff like that, worthy enough to be idolized and shit like that. And every I meet women, they're like, I want to be an Instagram model, so they post these photos trying to be a fucking model. I'm like, I don't think you're ugly, but at the same time, you're not hot. You're not going to be an influencer. You're not going to become an influencer. Influencers are for people who are born naturally hot and have no talent. That's what an influencer is. You kind of have to get over that. So, yeah. And so, and also just the internet's made a lot of people toxic, and stuff like that. It's just, people are like, okay, I like you, but I kind of want to see if I have a better option, like now with online shopping, we're like, I'm looking for the best deal, and we like search for that best deal. And we made relationships like that, and it's just it really is pretty fucking toxic. So I hope those are good reasons. I hope I actually went into good like songwriter reasons. I think we're always trying to write what's going to relate to most audiences and how the internet's kind of taken over, and how toxic relationships are kind of really been taken over because people have become toxic because of the internet and all the shit like that. So, yeah. If something is $20, why is it $19.99 and not $20? Okay. So, there's a line to this. Is this supposed to be a tactic to make something look cheaper than it actually is, or am I missing out on something that is common knowledge? No, I think you have it 100% correct from what you're doing. The idea of if instead of saying something's $20, you say it's $19.99. The idea is $19 looks cheaper than $20, but your $19.99 is like 1 cent off. And so if you just put something straight 20, it's like, oh, that thing is $20, $19.99. Oh, that's a really good deal because you think it's 19. I don't know why our brain's in it, because we see 19. Because we don't look at the last two numbers, 99. We basically look at the first two numbers first. Like, we're like, $20, that's not like much. $19, holy shit! Because we want to believe that we're spending money on something that's cheaper than it actually is. When you say $19.99, $20, I'm like, it's basically 1 cent is not nothing these days. So we see $19.99, we're like, oh, that's a pretty good deal. It's only $19.99, that's pretty good. And you're like, it's $20. It's $20 fucking dollars. What the fuck? Why is it that expensive? I don't know. It's just an idea. Like, no, the whole idea of the .99 added on to it instead of just being like the straight even number is this idea that it looks cheaper than it actually is. That is the 100% reason why this shit exists and why this shit is showing as being cheaper than what it actually is. I hope that's a lesson for some of you. If you didn't know that, yeah, that's the reason why you see things as like $5.99 or $19.99. That's the reason why. $199.99. I'm like, and at that point, it's, and eventually it gets to a big enough number where it's like, I don't think this works anymore. It's like, it's $399.99. I'm like, that's $4,000. Like, and I've just become to notice, I'm like, that's $4,000. That's not $399.99. That's $4,000. It's just at that, I think, and also, it's at that precipice of right before it changes over to the next decimal, or no, next number. I don't know, fuck it. I haven't taken math since, what was the last year I took math? 2013. I haven't taken math since 2013. I hope you all know that. I'm almost 30, so shut the fuck up. Should I delete social media? I used to be that person who posted everything on social media across all platforms since middle school to beginning of college. I slowly just started to stop and realize that privacy is luxury. About a year and a half ago, I rarely post anything, and nor do I think to anymore, and which is honestly a very free feeling. I understand the pros and cons of social media, just wondering what everyone's opinions are of those who deleted their social media already. Okay, so there's one thing about social media. If you have things you don't want to be on social media anymore, like just like tweet and shit like that, just go back in time and just start deleting that shit. That's just spend a couple hours and do that. It's not going to take that long. Just do that. If there's things that you're embarrassed about, just go ahead and delete it. If it's on the internet, it's there forever. But also, like, most people aren't that interesting to begin with. To be honest, let's just say, to be honest, they're probably not that interested to begin with. But I also want to say, though, like, there's those people who will make posts on Facebook or Instagram. I will be deleting my Facebook account on July 20th. So everyone send me your messages or anything else while you can, because after that, I will be deleting my account. And it's like, okay, the idea that you have to make a promotion or proclamate this idea that you are deleting your account says that you really want the attention from deleting your account. See, when I decide, I'm like, okay, I need a break from social media and stuff like that. What do? I just get off social media. I stop using it. I use a regular iPod for my music. I get off my phone. Like, I'm very good at, like, deciding, like, I want to get off my phone. I just want to listen to music. All that stuff. Like, I'm very good about that. But, like, people are like, I have to make a whole ordeal on social media about how and then other people are like, oh, I'm going to miss you here. I'm miss seeing what you're posting and shit like that. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't care. Like, I was in the Christian scene for a while. The Christian bullshit. I have to say that because apparently people will go on my case. I was on that, and then people were like, I'm giving up social media for Lent. So, ta-ta there, everyone. I won't be here until Lent is over. I'm like, your posts aren't that interesting. Like, I go on Facebook, and, like, I follow memes, follow bands I like, and it's going to be a lot more than just fucking people I know be like, oh, me and the kids, look at all my kids today. They are having a wonderful 4th of July. Look at them lighting them sparklers, LOL. I can't wait for our new baby to be here to celebrate in our traditions. Like, shut the fuck up. Like I'm saying, should you delete social media? Like, if you don't need to delete it. If you want to, like, keep your page active, do it. If you don't, do it. But don't be like, I'm going to delete my page. But whenever I want to get back on, I'll reactivate it. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, just, if you don't want to look at social media, don't look at social media. It's not fucking hard at all. Like, you could have an active page and not look at it at all. Nothing is that hard to fucking do. Most people here are just probably fucking dipshits who still want attention. Like, the reason for social media is for attention. And that's, like, why you post on social media. And so, if that's the kid, I don't know. Like, just be like, I'm leaving social media. I'm going to let everyone know that. And I will very much comment, it is much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality. Thank you. Today at church, we were told that it is best to get baptized as a young child and not wait until you are an adult. Should I be concerned? To me, it feels like they are rushing us to do it quickly before we were capable of thinking critically. Okay, so the meaning behind this is I was in the non-denominational type of church, so this wasn't necessarily a mindset at all. Our mindset was very much that children or babies haven't sinned. Okay, this is not necessarily your question, but I'm answering it as that babies have not necessarily sinned yet, so they go to heaven, and it's a weird, and then we have the question of where's the weird line of when you have and when you haven't sinned, and we were always fighting Catholics on, like, original sin, and it was like, babies haven't sinned, but then there's also Eve sin, so there's an original sin, we've all sinned, and now we all inherently, I guess, get original sin and stuff like that. So the idea of people just trying to get baptized young is the idea of if you're baptized, then you just automatically go to heaven. You could be Adolf fucking Hitler or Donald fucking Trump, and you would automatically go to heaven because you were baptized. That's the idea behind it. So, not necessarily tell me what denomination of Christianity, because all cults need necessarily, we have to understand your specific theology to understand what you're kind of believing. I don't know what specific sect of Christianity you are. A little bit Catholic, maybe. What's the one? The one John Piper's into? I can't remember what it was. Where you're like, only certain people are destined for heaven, but everyone else can fucking suck my dick. What I'll say here, though, is, the idea of getting baptized as a young child, that is specific views of Christianity, where if you're baptized, you can get into heaven. And that's why you just want to baptize as many people as possible. That way they're get that wristband that says they're accepted into heaven. I was never brought up in that belief system. I was always brought up in you decide to accept Jesus in your heart, and then you have to live out that lifestyle and or at some point pretend that you give a shit about it. So that's what I believed in. So if you want to follow my beliefs, it's more of a I never believed in the once saved, always saved mindset. I always believed in the you accept Jesus, and then you have to follow it and be a ride or die.
First of all, ride or die, bitch.
What?
So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I wish I knew what actual sect of Christianity you were a part of. I'd hopefully be able to give you a little bit more information on that, but I am not knowing what it is, and this is a recording and not a live show. So, sorry about that, bro. Sorry, bro. All right. Our last question for the podcast. Can you live single, alone, and happy your entire life? I have been constantly rejected, so I'm giving up on the idea of finding a partner. What can help me live a happy life alone? All right. First of all,
I feel like a woman, a real woman.
if you're a woman, I don't know if you're a woman. You sound like a man. You sound like a man to me. See, I'm giving you the mindset of like you have to. You're living your life as if like you're not finding like a partner or a soulmate or some bullshit that like you will be a complete person. No, it sounds like your whole life goal is to be finding a partner. And I'm gonna be honest, unless you're a Christian, the only thing what Christians do is date someone in high school. That's what they do. I was never a person to date someone in high school as an adult, so I wouldn't be able to help you out on that. This is not a podcast. I'm sorry. If anyone's listening to this podcast and they're like, I hope this guy helps me date someone in high school as an adult man in my 20s or 30s, I'm going to be blunt and tell you this is not the podcast for you. I'm just going to be honest. This is not the podcast you should be listening to. The idea, so I don't know if you're thinking about this idea of being happy your entire life. I'm like, look, here's what you should be doing. And it's bad because I grew up Christian. You're like, you got to get married so you can have sex. And if you're not having sex, because like I'm a man, and you're like, if you're not having sex, you're a fucking loser. And it's like, and then Christianity's like, you got to be married before you have sex. I'm like, well, fuck, now I have to get married? That's a fucking ordeal. You're like, you have to date someone to be horny for like a year or less, and then you marry someone you barely know just so you can have fucking sex with them. It's a whole fucking that sounds like a whole fucking ordeal that I don't want to be a part of. So yeah, no, you're like living alone, happy your entire life. Here's the thing. You gotta make the life you want that doesn't involve any bitches. That's what I'll say. Because you have to make a life you want to live and live that life. Then you can meet a woman and be like, do you want me to live this life and you live this life minus some compromises? And she's like, yeah. And then you live that life. Stuff like that. Your idea is like, I'm just constantly being rejected. Maybe how do I be happy alone? Like, first of all, do the shit you want to do. And maybe you'll find someone along the way who will ride or die. Hold on.
First of all, ride or die, bitch.
The things you want to do on your own. That's the thing. Because it's like you meet these guys, like, you have friends and you're like, hey, let's play Fortnite tonight. And they're like, hold on, let me ask my wife. And they ask their wife. They're like, sorry guys, my wife said no. I can't play Fortnite tonight. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? Your wife controls what you can and can't do? Fuck her. Like, and that sounds like a life, you're not. It sounds like if you end up in that situation, that's why I'm like, my friends with girlfriend, I'm like, oh, have them play with us. And then they play with us. And we're like, okay, you're a solid teammate. And like, even if they're not that good, it's like, whatever. Just, and also as like a friend of other men, you're like, you want to like your friend's life, your friend's wives and stuff like that. You're like,
Go full throttle.
because like if they date someone who annoys you and they end up marrying that person, like, god damn. And that's why I generally enjoy the company of my friends' wives, because they aren't fucking annoying. Anyways, though, you should have your life, the life you want, single, and having the life you want with another person comes along, then you're fine. Unless your whole goal in life is to have kids and be married, and both of you like that, I don't know. Like, what I'm saying? Basically, the only thing I'm saying is if you're not happy alone, you won't be happy in a relationship, because there's toxic people everywhere and annoying people everywhere, and you should just live with that fact forever and always. Anyways, though, that's how we're ending today's episode of Cancel Schweezy. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Social media at TheSchweezy, wherever you get social media. I'll be there. Check out my music under Schweezy. Just take out the cancel part and put the Schweezy in. That's where you'll find my music. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Like I said, if you have an Amazon Prime account, Amazon Prime, I said that right, go ahead and connect that with your Twitch Prime account. Hit the subscribe button instead of the follow button. Great way to financially support me specifically in everything I do. Patreon is another way to financially support us, just with actual money. So go check that out as well. Link in our description. Then there's all the free shit you can do. Like I always said, if you're listening to the show, go check out our YouTube page. We do post the highlights of the show. We do post the full episodes as well. So if you just want to pull it up on your TV, it's great. You get to see my fucking face and see me talk about things. If we do clips on the show, you get to see those as well. It is great. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube because that notifies you when we post literally anything. And then obviously, if you're audio only, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review and give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 rating. Thank you so much. Let's end the episode like we always do. Honk if you love butt drugs. And stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.